So you wanna climb the Tower of Barbs, right kiddo? Well, you can't do that if you can't beat White Steel. Grim, what's a White Steel, you might ask? White Steel is one of the 4 Forcemen you can fight on special days of the week. Each of the 4 Forcemen represent a faction on the tower, and White Steel represents DoD arms. Make no mistake though, fighting the 4 Forcemen is endgame content, so make sure you've prepared well enough before tackling any of them. Every Wednesday and Sunday, you may notice that there's these extra floors on the sides of the tower which are dead ends. These are the Forcemen arena, and there are 3 of them for each faction because each floor corresponds to a difficulty. The higher the room, the tougher the fight. It's pretty obvious which floor is which difficulty, but if you want to be sure, you can open the resource sheet on the description below in case you get lost. In general, the difficulty of the Forcemen fights only differ in their health, damage, and cost. That's right, attempting to fight a Forceman would require you to pay a lot of kill coins. Don't be discouraged though, because the first attempt per day, per difficulty, is always free, so take advantage of this when you can. The cost after the first attempts are as follows. Now, it's a given you'll want to prepare for this fight by bringing your best gear, but there are other things you'll need to note before you try to beat him. First, remember to eat the life shroom before entering his arena just in case things get dicey, so this is the perfect time to use the golden life shrooms I know you're hoarding. On the topic of shrooms, using certain mushrooms would cause him to use a shockwave attack which would throw you away from him. Blocking would help you stand your ground, but the main gimmick of this attack is that it purges all forbidden mushroom effects. On screen are the list of mushrooms which are safe to use, which ones he'll try to purge, and which ones have no effects whatsoever. For the decals, this is a bit of a straightforward fight, so anything that would increase your attack or defense against blunt or electric would be great. Now that you're well prepared, let's talk about his moves. His first attack would be to swing at you twice, then slam down with his mace. The first 2 swings are easy to bait out and dodge, but the third slam is a bit tricky because it damages on a cone in front of him. What I usually do is bait out the 2 attacks, then quickly run behind him. You can punish him with an attack after he slams down. The next 2 attacks involve the static massager, which is the tool on his other hand. When he raises his left hand, he's gonna do one of 2 attacks, the burst fire projectile attack or the continuous electric stream attack. The burst fire is pretty simple, just strafe left or right and you should be good. For the electric stream attack, you have to move back and casually walk at a 90 degree to his left or right. Because of this, whenever he raises his left arm, I move away to his side. Afterwards, I just adjust my movement according to what attack he's doing. Whenever he's too far from you, he can do a quick lunge, so be careful. Lastly, he has this taunt, which you can punish, but aside from that, I believe I've covered all of his attacks. While fighting, you may notice that there's a timer ticking down at the top. The harder the difficulty, the less time you have. For the sake of curiosity, here's what happens when it ticks down to 0. If you choose to revive at any point in the fight, the timer resets. And yes, I did spend death metals for making this video. Please subscribe. If you do end up dying in your attempt and do not continue, fret not because your fighter retrieval will be free of charge. My last tip for this fight is that he's weak to piercing weapons and he's particularly resistant to blunt and lightning weapons. So now you know how to fight him effectively. You might ask, why though? Well, at the end of every fight, there's a chest and the contents will vary depending on the difficulty you fought. Refer to the tables on the screen for the content. The most notable loot here are the blueprints for his equipment and the DoD Force medals. Furthermore, there are one and done quests which require you to beat him, and there are rotating weekly quests which would give you varying rewards. The weekly quests cycle on each faction though, so you'll see DoD quests once a month. With regards to his gear, the Spike Crusher is great against haters because as soon as you get a solid hit, all the other hits are guaranteed. If you've noticed, it's got some ammo to start with. That's because every time you cause these fragments to fly out, it consumes ammo. You can do so by delaying the third hit of every combo or slamming hard on the alternate attack. The static massager is also pretty decent. You can spray, you can shoot, well actually it's just those two. The spray is unblockable, so it's great against haters on floor 40 and up. Lastly, his armor set is not just tanky, it's also durable. I believe it's on par with uncapped gear in terms of durability. If you still have no solid armor in climbing the upper floors, White Steel's armor set can carry you with a bit of upgrade. Now that you know the what, how, and why of fighting White Steel, go out there and make me proud!
So, I hope you all were entertained by that video. Click here if you want to watch another video of mine, which is selected by the magical YouTube algorithm. Please don't forget to gently click that like and subscribe button if you liked my content. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys. Bye bye.